Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto was created by a small Scottish studio called DMA Design, founded by David Jones, with the series later shaped by brothers Dan and Sam Houser under Rockstar Games. The first game was a simple top-down action game where you played as a criminal climbing the ranks of an underworld. Nobody could have predicted what it would become. Grand Theft Auto 5 alone has generated over $8 billion in revenue and has sold more than 185 million copies, making it the highest-grossing single entertainment title in history, beating every movie, every album, and every other video game ever made. The open-world freedom is what made GTA legendary. You could follow the story or completely ignore it and just cause chaos for hours on end. The downside is that GTA has been at the center of controversy since day one. Politicians, parents, and media outlets have blamed it for violence, reckless behavior, and just about everything else. And GTA Online's microtransaction model has frustrated players for years, constantly asking you to spend real money just to keep up in a game you already paid for. Call of Duty. This is a game that turned bedrooms into battlefields and made 12-year-olds think they could talk to anyone the way they wanted over a headset. Call of Duty was created by Infinity Ward and published by Activision, launching in 2003 as a World War II shooter inspired by the leftover team from Medal of Honor. Then Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare came out in 2007 and changed everything. That game introduced kill streaks, a prestige system, and online multiplayer so addictive that people genuinely lost sleep over it. The franchise has since sold over 500 million copies and generated more than $35 billion in lifetime revenue, making it one of the highest-grossing entertainment franchises in human history. Microsoft later acquired Activision Blizzard for $69 billion, and Call of Duty was one of the main reasons they paid that price. The advantages are clear. The gameplay is tight, the production quality is cinematic, and the competition scene is genuinely thrilling. The disadvantages are just as clear. A new Call of Duty drops almost every single year, and many of them feel like the same game with a new coat of paint. The community can be notoriously toxic, and the Battle Pass and microtransaction system charges you real money for cosmetics in a game that already costs $60 to buy. Minecraft! This is a game your parents thought was a waste of time and your teachers thought was a distraction, and it turns out it was quietly becoming the best-selling video game in the entire history of the medium. Minecraft was created by a Swedish developer named Marcus Persson, better known as Notch, who built the first version in just 6 days in 2009 as a personal project. It started as a simple sandbox game where you mined materials and built structures. That was it. No story, no end goal, no enemies at first, just a world and your imagination. Microsoft acquired Minecraft and its developer Mojang in 2014 for $2.5 billion. Today the game has sold over 300 million copies across all platforms and remains the single best-selling video game of all time. The advantages are enormous. Minecraft is genuinely good for creativity, problem solving, and even education. Schools around the world use it as a teaching tool. The community has built everything from working computers to entire recreations of real-world cities inside the game. The disadvantages are mostly cosmetic. The graphics are deliberately blocky and old-fashioned, which still puts off new players, and the Java and Bedrock editions of the game have a cross-platform compatibility mess that has frustrated the community for years. Fortnite. You went to sleep one night in 2017 and woke up the next morning and somehow everyone on the planet was playing the same game. Fortnite was developed by Epic Games and released in 2017. The original version was a cooperative survival mode that nobody paid much attention to. Then Epic released a free Battle Royale mode as a last-minute addition and it exploded overnight. Within weeks, it had millions of players. Within months, it had become a cultural phenomenon. Celebrities were doing the dances in public. NFL players were celebrating touchdowns with Fortnite emotes. Travis Scott performed a live concert inside the game that drew 12 million simultaneous viewers. Fortnite has around 110 million active users and is projected to generate $6 billion in revenue in 2026 alone. The advantages are that it is completely free to play, constantly updated, and available on every platform, including mobile. The disadvantages are that the game has been criticized for targeting young players with an aggressive cosmetic system, and the constant changes to the map and mechanics mean the game you loved last season might feel completely different next season. FIFA. Every year, millions of people around the world buy the exact same game with slightly updated rosters and a new number on the cover, and somehow they are surprised that it is the same game they bought last year. FIFA, now rebranded as EA Sports FC following a split with the actual FIFA organization, was created by Electronic Arts and first released in 1993. For 3 decades, it has been the most dominant football video game on the planet. The franchise made most of its money not from the game itself, but from Ultimate Team, a card collecting mode where players spend real money to build their dream squads. At its peak, Ultimate Team was generating over $1 billion a year for EA, representing nearly a third of the company's total revenue. The advantages are real. No other football game captures the atmosphere, the licenses, and the sheer variety of teams and leagues that EA Sports FC does. For football fans, it is as close to the real thing as a game can get. The disadvantages are significant. The Ultimate Team gambling mechanics have been investigated by governments in multiple countries, player progression outside of spending money is painfully slow by design, and the franchise has released so many nearly identical annual editions that even its most loyal fans openly admit they are tired of paying full price for what feels like a roster update. Roblox. This is not just a game. This is a platform, a creative economy, and for an entire generation of children, it was basically the internet itself. Roblox was founded by David Baszucki and Eric Castle in 2004 and launched publicly in 2006. The idea was simple but radical. Instead of one game, give players the tools to build their own games and share them with everyone else. The result was a platform that now hosts millions of user-created experiences ranging from obstacle courses to full role-playing simulations to surprisingly complex games built entirely by teenagers. Roblox averages around 380 million monthly active users and has generated over $10 billion since its launch. The advantages are massive. It is free to play, endless creativity, and has produced real developers and designers who built their careers starting on the platform as kids. The disadvantages are serious. Roblox has faced significant criticism for its treatment of young developers, paying them a fraction of what their games earn through a currency exchange system that heavily favors the company. Child safety has also been an ongoing concern, with reports of inappropriate content and predatory behavior in some corners of the platform. The Last of Us. Most video games ask you to have fun. This one asked you to feel something and then made you wish it had just let you have fun instead. The Last of Us was developed by Naughty Dog and released in 2013 for PlayStation 3. It was directed by Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley, and it told the story of Joel, a broken man, and Ellie, a teenage girl, surviving a post-apocalyptic world overrun by a fungal infection that turns people into monsters. The game was immediately recognized as something different. It played like a film. The writing, the performances, the emotional weight of every scene set a standard that most games still have not reached. It won over 200 Game of the Year awards and is widely considered one of the greatest video games ever made. It was later adapted into an HBO television series that became one of the highest rated debut seasons in the network's history. The advantages are that it is a masterclass in storytelling and emotional depth. The disadvantages are that it is brutal, emotionally exhausting, and the sequel, The Last of Us Part 2, divided fans so deeply over story choices that the debate is still going today. Mortal Kombat. This is a game that was so violent it made the United States government hold a congressional hearing about video games in 1993 and directly led to the creation of the ESRB rating system that labels every game you buy today. Mortal Kombat was created by Ed Boon and John Tobias at Midway Games and released in arcades in 1992. It was designed to compete with Street Fighter but took a deliberately darker and more graphic direction. The finishing moves, known as fatalities, let players execute their opponents in over-the-top, brutal ways that had never been seen in a mainstream game before. Parents were outraged, politicians were concerned, and millions of kids absolutely loved it. The franchise has sold over 73 million copies across all its titles and generated billions of dollars over 3 decades. Mortal Kombat 11 alone sold over 15 million copies. The advantages are that the gameplay is deep, the roster of characters is iconic, and each new entry has consistently pushed the limits of what fighting games can look and feel like. The disadvantages are that the story mode, while entertaining, has become increasingly convoluted over the years, and the game's aggressive downloadable content model charges extra for characters and content that many fans feel should have been included from the start. That's all for now, folks. If you want to watch more videos from Professor Brainrot, hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss our next video.